Hey guys, welcome back to another Trove video. Today we're going to be doing a Trove tier list. Since apparently every YouTuber is doing a tier list, I figured I'd go ahead and make one for Trove, because why not? So this is going to be an overall tier list. This is going to be combining the Shadow Tower and the farming ability of each class. So just because Gunslinger might be the best Shadow Tower class, he might not be the best overall class because his farming ability isn't the greatest. So let's start. Let's just go down the list. Let's start with the Boom Ranger. Boom Ranger. Poof. I mean, he's not that good. He's not that good of a class. Not a terrible class. He does have a lot of knockback, which is bad for farming. But he does have, the class gem is like the Balk Bomb, which has little minions. They could be a little bit better for damage-wise. I think probably overall I'm leaning towards a D ranking for the Boom Ranger. He might get bumped up to a C. He's like between a C and a D. You know, we'll put him up to a C for now. He's not as terrible as people make him out to be. Especially when he has a melee um, uh, weapon attached to him. Next one is going to be the Candy Barb. But Candy Barb is actually a pretty good class. He definitely has the ability to be a tanking kind of class to help out in the Shadow Towers. He's pretty good for farming. He's a really good class for early game for a starting class. He's a little bit better than the Boom Ranger. I don't know if he's quite a B ranking, but we'll leave him at a C above the Boom Ranger. Chloromancer. Chloromancer is not a great class. Pretty bad Shadow Tower, pretty bad farming. The main ability of the Chloromancer is the little flower spinning wheels that they put out. And unfortunately, it would be a better class if those would stack, but with the flowers, as many as you can put out, they only do damage to one enemy at a time. So even though you might be having like 5 of those little flower things doing damage to one enemy, it might look like 5, but it's really only doing 1. So that's where the Chloromancer falls short. So we're going to have to put the Chloromancer in the E as one of the worst classes, unfortunately. The Dino Tamer. Dino Tamer is definitely a pretty good farming class. Definitely one of the fastest farming classes there is. It relies on its ult, which is unfortunate because if you don't have the ult up, it's not going to be doing a lot of damage. But the good thing is with the class gem on the Dino Tamer, it has a really long ult time, and as long as you have like you're running the chromatic chromatic emblem, you can definitely reduce that time. I think we need like 2, maybe 3 procs of it to get it completely cooled down by the time your ult runs out. So with it being fast and farming, it's not too bad of a Shadow Tower class. It's not going to be the best, but it's definitely not too terrible. We're going to put it as a B ranking. It would probably, if it was just for farming, it would be the S, but the Shadow Tower ability definitely brings it down a little bit, and we're going to leave it at the B tier. Now, I want to be a little biased here. I'm a Draco main. I love the Draco. I'm gonna have to give the Draco. I want to give him the S tier because he is really, really, really fantastic at Shadow Towers. I think he's definitely one of the best Shadow Tower classes in the game. Farming, he's not that bad, especially if you're doing a fire world for gems, because he gets a huge move speed buff when he's on fire. So if he touches lava, he gets like, I think, a 75% move speed buff, so he can go pretty fast. He's great in U10 with all of his damage and taking down a bunch of mobs. He's a really good farming class. Put on the night subclass on him to get that mount move speed. You don't have to worry about his move speed. You know, he's the same as everything else. I'm gonna put him at an A tier because he's really excellent at Shadow Tower. He's not the greatest at farming, but he's still really good at farming. So we're going to leave him in the A tier. Fey Trickster. A pretty good class. I feel like, a pretty underrated class. Has decent move speed to it. With the class gem, or not the class gem ability, just it's like phase shift ability. You can move around pretty good. The glitter bomb is pretty solid damage for farming. You can definitely like 1-2 shot U9 bosses depending on what your power is. I have not used the Fey Trickster in U10 at all. I would assume not too terrible in U10. I mean, again, depending on your power, because the glitter bomb does do AOE damage. And then it's a #1 ability with the your basic attack does a lot of damage, but then it is affected by not being able. It doesn't do as good as damage if you're getting hit by things. So then, in U10, it's not going to be as great as it is in Shadow Towers. So we're gonna put the Fey Trickster. We're gonna leave it at a B, definitely below the Dino Tamer, but I think better than the Candy Barb. Gunslinger. This one is gonna be another A tier. I think it's below the Draco though, simply because it is one of the highest DPSs for Shadow Towers, for sure. However, with farming, the farming ability of the Gunslinger relies heavily on its ultimate ability, and with the ultimate ability having such a low active time and a longer cooldown time, it takes a lot of flasks. If you're running the chronomatic emblem, it takes a lot of flasks to get that back up. It doesn't do that great of damage without the ultimate. It can do okay in U9 if you're powerful enough with just like its little boost jump to clear out the like Curse Call mob, stuff like that. But most of the time, like U10 and stuff like that, you're gonna need the ultimate ability, so you're gonna be burning through flasks pretty fast with the Gunslinger. So we're gonna leave him at the A tier below the Draco. That brings us to the Ice Age. Ice Age, I gotta say, I think the Ice Age is probably the best overall class in Trove. It has really high DPS in Shadow Tower. It has really good AoE damage with its ice bombs falling from the sky. So it does great in Shadow Tower. It does great against the boss because it has a lot of really good single target damage. It can go really farm really fast with its ultimate ability. It has a low cooldown time on its ability to go faster. So a lot of move speed. Great single target damage. Great AoE damage. So honestly, I think the Ice Age definitely deserves the S tier, as I think one of the best classes in Trove. The Knight. The Knight is pretty good. I think he's probably deserving of a B tier ranking. You know what? I think maybe a C tier, because his Shadow Tower ability isn't the best. For the Shadow Towers, you definitely want its class gem to throw out that little shadow self that you have of him to definitely do that range damage. Farming, I prefer no class gem, simply because I like the charge ability with the Knight. It can move really fast using that charge ability as long as you have a high energy regen, or you're using the Zealous Emblem to give you your full energy back with just using a flask. Has a really high damage. It can definitely do U10 and U9 really easily. Shadow Tower is where it falls short. If it was just the fact of it being for farming, I would probably list it in the B tier. But with the Shadow Towers, I think it definitely brings it down into like the D tier for Shadow Towers. So I think a high C is where the Knight belongs there. Now, unfortunately, the Lune Lancer. I love the Lune Lancer. It used to be one of my main classes for farming. It definitely deserves like an A or an S tier for farming. However, for Shadow Towers, it is probably the worst Shadow Tower class in the game. Hitting that E tier. So for that alone, we're gonna have to give it like a low C ranking. The Lune Lancer, his ultimate ability isn't the greatest. It is able to clear out U9 dungeons. It does decent damage in U10. Its swing attack does high damage, but it's slow damage, so that's why it's good for farming, because you don't need a lot of damage for farming. You just gotta get that 1 or 2 swipes to take out the boss, clear out the mobs, and it's done. But for Shadow Towers, you're sitting there for longer, especially with, you know, the main boss of of whatever tower you're doing, Spike Walker, whatever, Daughter of the Moon, and it just has really slow damage. It has high damage with that one swing, but it's slow damage, which is why it's actually one of the worst classes for the Shadow Tower, or the worst class for the Shadow Tower. Even I would even rank the Lune Lancer below the Tomb Raiser for Shadow Towers, honestly. Neon Ninja. Neon Ninja is definitely an S tier for farming. Super great for farming, really fast, can kill things with that shuriken. Depending on your stats, you can definitely one shot in U9 very easily, and you can even one shot in U10, depending again on your stats and how much light you got going on. But Shadow Tower, it definitely gets dropped off quite a bit with the long ago nerf to the Curse Skulls and not being able to activate its shuriken or build up its shuriken power on the Cursed Skull. It definitely got dragged down in the Shadow Tower tier list. So we're going to put the Neon Ninja probably at a low B, maybe even high C as an overall class ranking. Just because it's an S tier for farming, we're going to put him in the B tier, but a low B. Pirate Captain. Pirate Captain, again, really bad with farming. Not too bad with the, not too bad with Shadow Tower. Definitely can provide some pretty high damage with its alt and 2 extra turrets with the Class Gem ability. But again, the Pirate Captain is one of those classes where it relies on its alt or its pets to do a lot of damage, and those pets and alt are on a timer, and you always can't get to it every dungeon going as fast as you can. So, definitely drops it below. For Shadow Tower, I'll probably rank it maybe like an A or like a high B. But because of its farming ability, I would probably put it probably right below. Probably like a high C, right above the Knight. I think the Knight's better at farming, but not as good as Shadow Towers, and then pretty much the exact opposite is Pirate Captain, but the Pirate Captain, I think, is a better class than the Knight. The Revenant. Revenant is so good. He is probably one of the most overpowered classes right now. I just started a new account, and I'm maining the Rev, and man, I can really clear out dungeons very easily with the Rev, even though it's like pretty bad stats. I was able to get into U9, has a lot of health regen to him, a lot of survivability. He's definitely an S tier for Shadow Towers. He might even be an S tier for farming. I mean, as long as you put that Knight on him, he's like one of the best classes for U10. You can definitely clear out U10 dungeons really easily, putting out those spears, and just it's a really good class. I think actually I'm gonna put him as an S tier below the Ice Age, simply because the Ice Age is going to be a faster farmer. But I think the Revenant is right there with an Ice Age as far as an S tier class. Shadowhunter, man. I don't know where to put the Shadowhunter. It's really not. It's good in U9, but that's about it. When it comes to U10, personally, I don't think it's that great at doing U10 content. I can definitely clear out dungeons faster with all these other classes. And then Shadow Tower is definitely one of the worst classes because of its low damage per arrow. Even though he's spewing out a lot of arrows, it's really low damage for him. Man, I think that the Shadowhunter is going to get the D ranking. I don't think he's that great at really anything, and in the Shadow Tower, he definitely comes up lacking for sure. Tomb Raiser. Tomb Raiser is, again, one of those classes that probably deserves an E ranking. He's not great at Shadow Tower. He's not great at farming. I've made my Tomb Raiser 30k Tomb Raiser, and he can one shot bosses in U9, but that's mostly because of the evil eye emblem. Um, he's better than the Chloromancer in Shadow Towers for sure. But only because of his golem, and the problem with the golem is you have to build up the golem with your little minions, and the only way you get your minions is by killing things or waiting long enough to get the recharge back. So you can do a lot of damage, but unless you're facing a boss that has a lot of little minions like the Weeping Prophet, you're not going to get that high damage. So leaving him at the E tier above the Chloromancer, because I think the Tomb Raiser definitely has a higher DPS or a higher damage overall than the Chloromancer. Then the Vanguard. Everyone loves the Vanguard. It's a really great class, but it's not. I mean, a lot of people say it's like really good for farming. Even I say it's like really good for farming. It's definitely not as good as the Ice Age. It's not as good as the Dino. The Neon Ninja is a lot better than it. For Shadow Towers, the range ability is not the greatest for the Vanguard. I think it falls really short. Its accuracy is pretty bad, so if you're trying to hit like a boss, you can definitely miss a lot of your shots. It's not like the Shadowhunter with its bow is really accurate. With the Vanguard, it's kind of, it feels like all over the place. It has really high damage with its laser beams, and you can definitely set it up to do a lot of damage with laser beams. If you're running the Zealous emblem, you can definitely spam those when you're in melee mode. But I definitely think the Vanguard is gonna be in the C rank. I know a lot of people in the C ranking. Let's see. So Vanguard is definitely a better farmer than all these guys. But I think the Pirate Captain is better. Shadow Tower, probably right maybe here. I think the Pirate Captain and the Vanguard are probably right on par with each other. You know, they do different stuff better than each other. Um, you know, I don't think the Boom Ranger is better than the Shadowhunter, so we're gonna drop the Boom Ranger down. Let's see what else we can fix here. I think that's about it. I don't think that I think I'd rather pick these classes over the Shadowhunter. I love playing the Shadowhunter. Shadowhunter is a really fun class to play. I love playing it in U9. You know, it's just the fact that it's just really bad damage, like when you really think about it. Yeah, so I think this is my final tier ranking for the Trove classes. Remember, this is the overall ranking of Trove classes. This is not just farming. This is not just Shadow Tower. This is overall in all aspects of the game. So if you're a new player looking for what's the best class in the game, what can I, play and main to kind of do a little bit of everything, Ice Age, Revenant are going to be your top two, in my opinion, followed by the Draco and the Gunslinger. Then you got your Dino Tamer, your Fate Trickster, Neon Ninja, and then you got your Pirate Captain, Vanguard, Knight, Candy Barb, Lune Lancer, Shadowhunter, Boom Ranger, Tomb Raiser, and the Chloromancer coming up last. So that is my ranking. These are my opinions. Leave a comment. Let me know your opinions. Maybe you think a class should be moved up, or maybe you think a class should be moved down. Let me know. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time.